Hi everybody, welcome to our video about Northwood in St George's Road in North Fitzroy, and I've been asked just to mention two or three things that I think are pertinent with regard to this particular project and why we would be recommending it to you and to our clients and to our property partners to recommend to their clients. And firstly, you know that old adage, the three most important words in property: location, location, location. And I've often argued with that because there could be 40 things that are relevant for a particular property, in addition to the very important issue of location. So, we need to be very careful about how we make our judgments in regards to the import of just solely location. But to start with, in regard to Northwood, I have to talk to you about North Fitzroy. And North Fitzroy is one of those suburbs that has been one of those very, very popular in urban areas of Melbourne for many, many, many decades. And it's interesting because if we look at areas like Abbotsford or Collingwood or maybe even Richmond to a degree, or Fitzroy proper, decades past there were question marks over those locations, not so much to do with whether they would be popular in the future, but when they would start to become really popular as, in urban areas of Melbourne. Now they have, of course, and one doesn't need to look too hard to see what's happened to Collingwood and Abbotsford and Fitzroy proper and Richmond and Northcote and some of those other areas. But, going back, I remember, when I started my career in property in the 70s and 80s, I remember very clearly that section known as North Fitzroy was then, very popular. It's wide streets and lovely heritage properties, and it just had this reputation and underlying demand. Now, whilst this property's not right in the heart of what I'm discussing as North Fitzroy, there is no question that it gets that further, and because it is North Fitzroy, that it has that underlying demand, which is just very well recognised in the owning public and the occupying public of inner urban property in Melbourne. Now, the second thing to say about this development, in addition to the fact that I think North Fitzroy is terrific, is to do in particular with the developer. And so often, we explain to people when they're buying property before it's developed, they're not actually buying a townhouse or a house or an apartment. What they're actually buying is the people that are developing it. And we have worked with Blue Earth, the development company in this instance, on many occasions now. We know them very well, and I say to you without any fear of contradiction that they are a very good developer. Their word is their bond. They work very well for our clients. They work very well on the projects that they develop, and they finish them well. And one of their underlying commitments and strategies is to make certain that everybody involved in the purchase of one of their inner urban properties is satisfied and happy. Now that, for us, that commitment, and the fact that they're financially strong and well experienced and very active, I might say, in a range of different areas of Melbourne, that circumstance, in other words, to say to you that Blue Earth is very good, is something I have no question about saying to you. And maybe the final thing is just the specific location. Now, I could talk more about the building and so on, but our people could do that if you're interested in inquiring and go through the details. All of that is as it should be. Lovely building, all of the things that it should be. But the final thing to say to you is that special thing about being near Merry Creek. And, how much are those sorts of issues worth? And recently in Abbotsford, we recommended our clients purchase a project right on the river. And the fact that it had that sort of country atmosphere, the fact that it had the river, the fact that it had the walking tracks, the bike tracks, all those sorts of things, even if somebody lived in the development and nearly didn't use these facilities or these assets, and even if they don't necessarily look over them and have a great view of all of those sorts of things, the fact that this property is where it is gets that same sort of benefit. So they're the three things I'd say to you. North Fitzroy is terrific. Blue Earth, we're very confident to recommend to our clients in terms of purchasing long-term investments of theirs, of properties they develop. And the final thing is that specific location of Merry Creek, I think, is special. Thank you.